In 1999, Star Wars returned.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. 2 words. Star Wars.
Now this is pod racing.
Episode 1.
The Phantom Menace.
The movie set in time before the other 3 Star Wars movies.
Not with a whisper, but with a roar of pod racers, Senate procedures, and a Gungan who stepped in, quite literally, hoodoo.
Don't touch anything.
Audiences expected a myth reborn.
The Phantom Menace opens at midnight.
Place in the Star Wars line.
We started lining up over a month ago.
All right, get out your lightsabers.
You just may have noticed that Star Wars, the latest episode, opens nationally at midnight tonight.
The hype surrounding this movie has been overwhelming. Now the question is, will it deliver?
What they got was complicated.
Are you an angel?
Yet beneath the awkward dialogue, beneath the Senate hearings, beneath midichlorians, there was music. Music that whispered destiny.
Johnny really understands movie music. It's not just music laid in there, it actually tells the story.
Music that gave a soul to a film that struggled to speak. This is The Phantom Menace. At first, there was excitement, generational anticipation. People camped outside theaters. Children painted lightsabers on their cheeks. Adults cried at the trailer.
Starting Friday, thousands of theaters around the country began showing a new 2-minute trailer for what can possibly be described as the most eagerly awaited new movie of the decade.
Movie fans lined up
just to see the trailer. They leave even before the movie starts.
A preview. That's what it is. It's a preview.
So, you want to see Star Wars: The Phantom Menace? Well, get in line.
Are you guys all excited about episode 1?
And then, the movie started. We saw taxation disputes, trade routes, parliamentary motions. The Force, once mystical and unknowable, suddenly sounded like a lab report. A dream tilted. The myth became administrative. For many, that was the moment. A shift in the Force, not a balance, but a bewilderment.
I have a bad feeling about this.
To understand The Phantom Menace, we must understand its creator.
This is the 1st of November, 1994. Today is my first day of writing the new Star Wars series.
George Lucas, the myth maker, the rebel who shaped a galaxy from his imagination. But by the late 90s, Lucas wasn't the hungry outsider who wrestled Star Wars into existence. He was a legend, a studio unto himself.
I didn't even think I would get the first 3 done until after the films came out. And then when the films came out, I realized not only could I finish the other 2, but I could also tell a backstory if I really wanted to, because that's a good story. It's fun to go back into that world. I get to do a lot of things now that I couldn't do before, which is going to be exciting in terms of writing and stuff. I can create things that weren't possible to create before. I was always, and I will be on this, but I've always been sort of at the limit of what is possible in terms of storytelling. Things have advanced so far in the last 20 years in terms of your ability to portray things on the screen that were just literally impossible before, and then very difficult in terms of cost. It's always a limiting factor. But even if you take that out, there were things that just couldn't be done regardless of how much money you had.
Technology had advanced. CGI promised limitless worlds. And Lucas, fascinated by the power of digital filmmaking, leaned into it fully.
Lucas told me after the Phantom Menace screening that he knew computers would get faster, but he didn't realize how much faster and more versatile they would become.
You know, through struggling with ILM over the years and developing this sort of new digital revolution, and kind of hoping that the technology sort of advanced itself, we finally got on Jurassic Park to the point where I could say we can create a photorealistic digital character that looks as real as any actor does. And with that, I started saying we can do the new Star Wars, and I can do it. And writing it was so much fun because I just said, I am not going to limit myself on this one. I'm going to open the box. I'm just going to write whatever I want, no matter how outrageous, and I'm just going to see if I can pull it off.
So instead of dusty cantinas, we got pristine palaces. Instead of lived-in worlds, we got computer-rendered kingdoms. Instead of character drama, we got Space Senate C-SPAN. The vision was ambitious, but ambition is a double-edged lightsaber.
I think about the scenes all the time, and they come in a mosaic, and eventually all the pieces come together. And then there'll be some missing ones, and then I have to sort of sit down and really work hard to get from point A to point B.
Let's be fair. There were moments.
Concentrate on the moment.
Moments that hinted at greatness. The pod race? Adrenaline. Darth Maul igniting a double-bladed lightsaber? Cinematic electricity. Qui-Gon Jinn? A Jedi with gravitas and warmth. A monk with purpose.
Anakin Skywalker?
And then there was the music. John Williams, with baton and brilliance, delivered a score that felt ancient and eternal. Duel of the Fates wasn't just a song, it was prophecy.
We're fighting back now, but I think we need to keep that kind of fighting back theme going to keep the energy up.
A symphony of destiny woven through chaos. In those moments, we believed again. For a heartbeat, Star Wars felt mythic. The frames were flawed, but the soundtrack soared.
Yeah, because there's a lot of clashing and banging and Ben Bird in there.
Yeah.
So if we're going between takes and stuff, it'll be hidden pretty well.
The only concern that one might have is that you may want a version without the chorus, but I don't know if you even want to contemplate that.
I love the chorus.
It gives it that churchy.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's going to work. I mean, you didn't realize this, but it really goes into the third film very well, and I think it'll be an important thing to reprise. I mean, that definitely has the quality of the inevitable fate of doom, with larger hands at work.
But you cannot outrun story forever, and the Phantom Menace stumbled in its bones. Jar Jar's antics shattered tone like glass. Anakin, meant to be a tragic prodigy, felt more like a Saturday morning cartoon protagonist. Dialogue, well.
Are you an angel? What?
And deeper still, the plot lacked urgency. We didn't feel the weight of fate. We watched it in committee chambers. Characters felt distant, motivations muddy. The Force, once religion, now blood test. The tragedy is not that the Phantom Menace aimed low. It aimed too high, in too many directions, and lost the beating heart of its story. And yet, right when frustration peaked, the choir returned.
People, welcome to you. Thank you for coming. Welcome to this process of making Star Wars. Our director is back in the booth here somewhere, is George Lucas. And I'll thank you for him also. Glad you're here. We're going to begin today's work with the woodwind setting at 33. Just winds, please, 33. 1, 2, 3.
But in its best moments, it touched brilliance.
I was looking for somebody who really understood classical movie scoring. And I was talking to Steve Spielberg about it, and he had worked with Johnny on Jaws and said, this is the man for you. He's perfect. He really understands that medium. And once I worked with him on Star Wars, I wouldn't have anybody else doing it.
I've been uniquely fortunate to continue to accompany George on this great journey that he's on, which seems now to be a life's work journey. He probably rang me a year ago to tell me that the time was coming, that his script was going to be ready, and that he was about ready to shoot the film, and that the music would be needed by such and such a time in the calendar. And then I would get another phone call 2 or 3 months later, and he would fix a spotting date where we go in a dark room and talk about where the music is going to go and what it should do, etc.
The lights dim in memory. Qui-Gon falls. A boy is chosen, and a chorus aches. What is the Phantom Menace remembered for? For some, disappointment. For others, childhood wonder. Both can be true, but ask even the harshest critic about the score. watch their face soften. John Williams did not merely support the film, he saved it. His music carried emotion where dialogue faltered. It gave myth where pacing stumbled. It lifted scenes to a higher realm, whispering, "This matters," even when the script forgets. And perhaps the greatest irony? The most legendary sequence, the duel, has almost no spoken lines at all. When the plot struggled to speak, the music sang. Greatness can live inside imperfection. Sometimes a story falters. Sometimes vision outpaces structure. Sometimes characters fail to breathe on the page. But artistry, true artistry, still finds a way through. In a choir, in a melody, in a lightsaber clash timed to the beating heart of a boy destined to fall.
The medium of chorus and orchestra would give us a sense that we're in a big temple.
It's a wonderful piece of music with the choir and the whole. It's very operatic and very much like Star Wars.
And today, new generations rewatch it. Not with bitterness, but curiosity, nostalgia, even love. They see the ambition, the world building, the promise. They hear the music and feel the force once more. The Phantom Menace reminds us that cinema is not one thing. It is sight and sound and emotion swirling like stars in the void. And sometimes, one element shines so brightly, it redeems the rest. When the plot stumbles, music can still soar. When story breaks, theme can endure. And even flawed legends leave echoes. In the end, The Phantom Menace is not great cinema, but it is unforgettable cinema. And sometimes, that is enough.